A very good evening to one and all. This is Dinesh of Madras Christian College from the Department of Physical Education, Health Education and Sports. This is my third year ICA seminar on the topic of VO2 max during exercise and training. First, VO2 max is a maximum amount of oxygen that is consumed by the individual during the exercise or a training period. This plays a very important role in a fitness way and in leading a healthy life. So, what is VO2 max? We see the oxygen plays a very important role in our body to convert the nutrition into the energy. So the VO2 max is told by in a milliliter per kilometer and per minute, where it is measured in this way. And the importance of the VO2 max, where it gives a better performance to the athlete in their activity or in the game. So the challenging is the maximum of your VO2 max requires an intensive exercise, which means that to get the maximum of VO2 max, the high intensity exercise or a training is required to reach the full-fledged VO2 max in our body. Factors affecting VO2 max. So it's basically very common or a different to an individuals. Each individuals or a trainer will have a separate effects. Example like genetic, age, and training. If a person is lagged in a genetic way, he could not able to reach the maximum of VO2 max. As well as in the age and the training. If the training status is not a very in a good manner, he can't able to reach a full efficient of VO2 max in his or her training period of VO2 max. So the main importance of VO2 max were the athletic performance, endurance sports, example like cycling, swimming, are a very common and basic of endurance sports like long distance runners. So VO2 max is a crucial of endurance athletes such as a long distance runner. As we told in this, they give an example of long distance runner, row cycles, or a or the sports or a training can which can able to get the maximum of VO2 max achievements. So as well as in the team sports, VO2 max improves the overall performance in the team sports player. It's the lower the rate of fatigue and increase the ability of energy output. So when we have the maximum of VO2 max, that we can able to avoid the fatigue and we can able to get the high energy sport output from the VO2 max. In a martial way, VO2 max is also important in a martial arts where requires intensity, energy, and the requires higher VO2 max level allows the participants to perform the more explosive technique. So when we reach the VO2 max, we can able to get a more explosive and a very good performance in our training exercise. Example like deadlift or a very high intensity workout which can able to bring out the optimum of VO2 max level in our body. So to measure the VO2 max, there are laboratory tests, estimated tests, and field tests. Laboratory tests are more very highly cost for the basic and a normal sportsman or a trainer, where the estimation test also is currently some wearable devices which can able to bring out the and measure the VO2 max. And in a field test where we were used to test challenging the running, walking distance to increase the VO2 max level. So when we see the laboratory test, which it gives a very accurate of VO2 max in our body, which have been consumed rather than the field test or the estimate test. So to improve the VO2 max, interval training, consistency and variety. So when we see the interval training, which incorporate high intensity interval training. So interval training are basically a low intensity or a high intensity training. Only by the high intensity training we can be able to achieve the maximum of VO2 max in our training period. And the constant period is training can help improve your VO2 max level maximum during your endurance workout, which means like example cycling, swimming or running. During the period we can able to maximize our VO2 max level and challenging your body with the diverse workout including the swimming. As we see by an aerobic training period we can able to achieve and improve the VO2 max level. So the limitation and concentration of VO2 max, as we see in the factors affecting, same like genetic limitations. It is not common to everyone. Some of them will be lagging on the genetic or some of age related and other factors. But when we when we combine both in a very good manner, we can able to achieve the VO2 max in a very high potential level. So as we see, this is a low intensity training period. So this graph indicates the oxygen level consumed by an individual during the low intensity training. As we see, this is the rest period and exercise period and recovery period. So when the exercise period during the exercise period, the oxygen will be steady within a first minute of during the exercise because during the exercise period the body will be the muscle will be having a minimum nutrition, after which the nutrition is consumed and utilized, the uptake of the oxygen will be the more and increasing, where the steady status will be fulfilled during the low intensity training. So after the exercise the recovery period will be shorter and where the oxygen consumption will be coming to the normal position. So as we see in the low intensity training, the exercise period will be longer and the required period will be the longer. Mm, So during the high intensity training, as we see that during the exercise, the oxygen uptaken is above the steady status where the VO2 max level have been increased. So oxygen deficit will be increased and the recovery recovery period will be in a normal position, but compared to the low intensity training it won't be a full-fledged down where we used to have the intensity in our body during the high intensity training. So if you see during the high intensity training the intensity will be higher but the duration of the exercise or training period will be shorter and the recovery period will be shorter. But if you see in the low intensity training, the exercise period will be longer and the recovery period will be shorter, but the duration of the exercise will be a longer period. So, in the conclusion, we can be able to get the VO2 max is an important measurement of an athletic to perform. So, every athlete is a very essential thing is to develop their VO2 max level just to participate or endure their activity in a very and get a best result in their activity. So VO2 max is basically which leads a very healthy life and a very fitness life. Once the VO2 max is lag in a threat, they used to get some health issues and the more of heart diseases. So remember the limitation and the consideration to keep in your mind. So as we see, it's not about what we think; it's about what we do during the exercise and the training period. So I thank for the opportunity given by our staff.